everybody, it's Jasmine. So today I'm bringing you guys the battle of the ShopMissA sponges. Now I am so excited for this video because I have 5 different sponges I wanted to try out. Now I will say I am not the first person to do this. I know when their Mochi sponge launched, which is what I am going to be reviewing in this video, when their sponge launched I had an idea for this video, but one of ShopMissA's team member, Blake, she's literally so pretty, she did a video on ShopMissA's IGTV testing out the new Mochi Blender, the Paw Paw Charity, as well as our microfiber sponge. And since I have 5 different sponges with me, I wanted to still do my video and still give you guys my thoughts and opinions because everybody is different and everybody has different preferences. As with all of my reviews that test out different products, I do wear the same exact look. So for all of the complexion products, they're all the same. I will have that listed down below. If you're wondering about, can I get a tutorial on this look? It will come Wednesday. I'm so excited for it. So stay tuned for that. And I do have one more thing to say before I start the video. Now, their original Wonder Blender comes in different colors as well as different shapes. Now, they're the same formula of sponge, it's just the preference of the shape. So I stuck with all teardrop shaped sponges because that's my personal preference. So my opinions will still be pretty much the exact same. Some of the sponges I have tried in other shapes previously, just not on camera, but I can tell you they're pretty much the same, it's just a different shape. Now, with all of that being said, let's go into the review. Now, I am going to be starting off with their brand new sponge, which is their Mochi Blender. Now, this one is going to retail you for $1.88, and the 88 cents is going to be donated for their A+ charity line. And this is just to help schools, children in need with school supplies, and I'm really all here for this A+ collection. This one is one of the more pricier charities, I want to say, in the ShopMissA line, but you are helping out children and I really do appreciate that. Now, this sponge in particular has a medium density, so when you squeeze it, it has a little bit more of a give to it. So if you like not too hard of a sponge but you don't like something extremely soft, you might really like this. Now, I felt like it blended out everything super fast. The foundation, the concealer, the cream contour, the powder, it blended in everything really fast, but when everything was said and done, I felt like the contour was just a little bit patchy, which, I mean, I didn't mind because typically I don't leave cream contour on my face. I always go in with a powder on top, but for the video I wanted to show you guys what it actually looked like. Now, I felt like everything was all seamlessly spread out on my skin. It looked really flawless, and I didn't use a pore filling primer because I wanted to show you guys the texture of the sponge as well being translated on my skin, and that is a factor with sponges. Because I have told you guys in some previous videos that some sponges are very porous on the outside, so when you blend in the foundation, the pores of the sponge translates on the skin. This one did not do that, which I'm very pleased about. And I also wanted to note that since this was a medium density sponge, it did not give me full coverage, but I was still living for it, and that's all I could really ask for. It just looked like airbrushed skin. The next one that I have is their original Wonder Blender. Now, these ones have been in their line for so long. I've seen people compare this one to a regular beauty blender. Let me tell you, it's not a dupe for a beauty blender. It's much harder than a beauty blender. This has really high density. This sponge is hard. If you guys remember another Battle of the Sponges video that I did almost a whole year ago, I tested out the Sigma Practic sponge, and this really reminded me of that sponge. It's not as hard, but I felt like it took a little longer to blend into the skin. I felt like my foundation just laid on top of the skin, and although it looked good and although I got my finished product, I wasn't completely satisfied because it was a harder sponge. Now, I will say that it did soften when I wet it, but it wasn't soft enough for my preference. But at the end of my application, it gave me really full coverage. If you do like your harder sponges and you do like something that offers you a little bit more full coverage, maybe you'll really like this. I know somebody told me in the comment section, well, the more times you use the Wonder Blender, the softer it gets. Now, I actually had a Wonder Blender, but I actually had it in my client kit, and I did use it a lot. I used it really frequently, and after about the 10th use, it got really soft, but it ripped. And it ripped bad. So it may be the fact that it's the formula of the sponge, maybe, but I personally just don't like it for myself. Now, if you guys know me and you guys watch my channel, you guys know the ShopMissA Paw Paw Wonder Blender is my ride or die. That's my #1 sponge. If you have to buy anything from ShopMissA, it better be this sponge. Now, I am testing out 2 different variations of the sponge. I'm gonna be testing out their original one and then the one that they reformulated. So this one that I'm gonna be talking about is their original one that you can no longer buy, but if you already have it and you're wondering about the difference between the old one and the new one, this one is just going to wrap up the details. Now, this one is a Paw Paw Charity sponge, so this one is going to have the additional 55 cents. So it's $1.55. The 55 cents gets donated to animal shelters, animal charity, and I really do love that about ShopMissA. They're really generous. Now, this one, I love it because it has a light density feel. It's very, very soft, and this one in particular feels like a marshmallow. It literally feels airy, light, and very fluffy. This one I feel like blends the foundation in really fast, just like the Mochi Blender, and it makes the skin look really, really soft and smooth. But I do feel like it sheared out the contour a lot because I did have to swipe my blender in order for me to blend the contour. Now, I am kind of iffy about that, but at the same time, I'm not the type of person to really wear cream contour, so I wasn't really mad at it, but it wasn't the best cream contour application out of all the sponges. For the powder application, I felt like it was absolutely beautiful. You know, it blends in right away, sinks into the skin, and it doesn't leave a line of where the powder ends. I know some sponges do that as well. This one doesn't do it, and it just leaves the skin looking absolutely flawless. And again, I really just love this sponge. I love softer sponges, so this one really does it for me. As far as their new revamped sponge, I do have a review, but as a recap, this one still is very, very similar to their old sponge. I feel like the only difference is the coloring of the sponge. It's more of a vibrant pink, and it feels more of like a memory foam material. When I squeeze it, it takes a little bit longer to expand back out, and I feel like when I immerse it in water, it also takes a little longer to expand as well. It's just a minor difference, but I mean, the application, everything is the exact same. I feel like the contour was a little bit more hard to blend in, and it just took a little bit more time to, but either way, I felt like it was kind of the same, not as airy, more memory foam. Needless to say, I felt like my foundation overall gave me a medium to full coverage look. I felt like my skin looked absolutely smooth and flawless, and I just feel like nothing beats it. There's just something about these soft sponges that just work for me, and I've tried a lot of sponges throughout my whole makeup journey because you know you're supposed to cycle through them, and I felt like I always go back to the ShopMissA ones, and I've bought over 20. I can gladly say I ran through my 20 that I initially bought, and now I'm buying more. So I don't know how much I bought. Who knows at this point? I just keep buying it because it's cheap and I'm donating to charity. Finally, we have our last sponge, which is their Microfiber Wonder Blender. Now, this one is also part of their Paw Paw Charity line, so it's $1.55. Now, this one is a medium density sponge, very similar to the density of the Mochi sponge, maybe just a little bit harder, not that much harder, but you know, just a little bit. This one is very similar to the Juno & Co one. I do have a dedicated review reviewing both of them, but compared to the other sponges, less is more with this because it does have have those hairs, so it doesn't soak up as much foundation or powder. So when you are using this, if you apply too much, it's going to be a little hard for you to blend it off. So I recommend just going in lightly with whatever you're using and then building up if necessary. I felt like out of all of the other sponges, my contour and foundation looked really full coverage. It blended in really well, and that is because it has the microfiber material on it, and it does give me, you know, that wow, I'm really, you know, beat to the gods look. And I do go back to this sponge whenever I really want a full beat look. It doesn't cake on the foundation, and I know some people might think, oh, well, it's not sucking up the foundation, it must be sitting on top of your skin. This one actually does blend it in while still making your skin look really good and really full coverage. So now that I gave you my review on everything, you're probably thinking, so what do I do now? Like, what do I buy? Well, again, it's all up to your preference. How dense do you like your sponge? Do you like it really soft, fluffy, light density? Do you like it medium density, or do you like it really hard and high density? You know, it's all up to you. Personally, I am a fan of the lighter density sponges. I feel like they feel better on my skin and they perform the best on my skin. So in order, I'm not saying like the last one is bad, but in preference on what I would reach for, it would be Paw Paw Charity Wonder Blender is the pink ones, these ones. And then I would probably go for the Mochi one because it is leaning towards like that medium, like a true medium density sponge. Then if I'm going for a full coverage look, I will go for the microfiber, and then I would probably say that their original one is going to be my last choice, like my, oh, all my sponges are dirty and this is all I have left type of sponge, you know what I mean? They all work great. They all blended in everything great. I feel like the only thing these sponges had trouble with was the cream contour. And I have to say that cream contour just may be something you might want to just blend out with a brush. Maybe. I'm not that person to really use cream contour all that much. But either way, you know, these sponges are only $1 and some change if they are from the charity line. So, you know, you're helping a good cause. They're really inexpensive. They're cruelty free, latex free, and you know, they're just good stuff. I think the only negative thing I will say about these sponges is the fact that they're kind of hard to clean. And I do have a good cleaning method. I do have my Dr. Bronner's cleaning method. I do have my bar soap method. I have a whole video where I clean my brushes and sponges. I will leave that down below. And I feel like these ones are a little harder to clean. You know, if I'm comparing these ones with like my Juno & Co. ones, I feel like my Juno ones clean way faster than these ones. And I don't know, I just felt like I go in 3 times, like 3 rounds whenever I'm cleaning these. So keep that in mind, that maybe you need something more of like a stronger soap like Dr. Bronner's to really get it out. But you know, these ones do stain, just letting you guys know. I mean, sponges stain in general, but I just noticed that, you know, with my personal uses, these ones do stain. So keep that in mind. As far as ripping is concerned, I've only seen the original Wonder Blender rip really easily. Everything else, I can't really say for the Mochi one because I just bought that. Everything else takes a while to rip. I want to say it's around like the 3-month mark where it starts to get a little bit of those rips in it. I haven't had in my original Wonder Blenders get like a big rip, so that's kind of why I always go back to it, because it always remains kind of fresh in my collection. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else negative to say. They all hold up pretty well. Just be gentle with it. You know, if you are going to clean them, just be gentle so that they don't rip. Don't clean them in boiling hot water because that will help make them, you know, not last as long. I think that's it. So depending on your preference, I hope I helped you guys pick the sponge that's right for you. And if you guys want to buy these ones, I do have an affiliate link down below. It's up to you if you want to use it. Doesn't matter if you do or don't. I mean, I appreciate it if you do, but again, not forcing you guys to do anything you don't want to. So thank you guys so much for always watching my ShopMissA videos. I do have a ShopMissA playlist now that I just made, so I hope you guys check that out. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.